Hello, this is Margaret at the University of Sewing, and I have with us one of our customers. This is Angie Raynard, and Angie has an 880 plus. And you bought that 880 plus from us now, how long ago?
It was 2 years ago.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how fast the time has flown. And when we talk about our 880s, what I want to point out to everybody is right now, I actually have several used ones in the shop, and Bernina's made quite a deal on brand new ones. So we would like to introduce you to the lovely 880. Both Angie and I own one, and we wanted to talk a little bit about it because the 880 gets kind of a bad rap. And when I first started using it, I had no information about it, and it was a little confusing. Now, when I suggested to you, you had told me it was your dream machine.
Yes, yes.
And when I told you about it, what did I suggest you should do?
You suggested that I go on the Bernina website and watch a series of 4 videos. I think it was called Getting to Know the Rhythm of Your 880 Machine.
You know, I've actually put those on our YouTube channel now.
Okay.
Because I wanted to make sure people could find them.
Sure.
And sometimes finding things on the internet, we all know that can be a challenge sometimes.
Yes.
So it's available right now for you to look at. We have an 880 playlist. This will be put on that same playlist, but we have those 4 videos.
Right.
So were they helpful?
They were extremely helpful. So they showed in detail how to thread the upper thread. They also showed how to thread your bobbin. One way for sewing and a different way for embroidery.
Okay.
Very helpful. Up close videos to
so you didn't have to, like, you know, sometimes Bernina videos drive me crazy because they don't talk in them.
So these were a series of webinars. So there is actually someone talking, and then also an up close shot of important things on the machine that you would need to know.
That is so helpful. That is so helpful.
Yes.
And so what helped me is I actually went to a class at Bernina, but now I use my 880 all the time. It's my very favorite sewing machine. And I try to explain to people the difference between an 880 and any other sewing machine is like driving a Ford and driving a Lamborghini. If you have never done that and you have never sat down at a machine that just feels so good. Now, is that your feeling on sewing with it?
It is. It is. It is head and shoulders above any machine I've ever sewed on before. So I definitely agree with that analogy.
So I've owned Vikings. I've owned Singers, Kenmores. I've owned Elnas. I've had obviously Berninas, but nothing I've ever in industrials. I mean, I've sewn on so many different kinds of machines,
right? And
I've had customers with all kinds of machines. I just don't really think there's anything quite to compare, but it does have some differences.
Sure.
So I thought what we would do is show a couple things here. One of the things that is really interesting about this machine is that it has a sensor right here. So this sensor, if you don't engage it, it doesn't know that you have thread in the machine. So my thread is going to come from here, go up, and then it goes over here straight across, and it comes down. And then the machine actually has a self-threader. So that part of it, once you do it a couple times, so you think it's just like automatic.
I do. I think you have muscle memory that just once you've done it the right way a few times, it's natural.
And it's really funny. We have an employee who I made her sew on my machine when she first came here. The only thing she's ever sewn on is a straight stitch Juki.
Okay.
So she was just like utterly shocked at that machine at first. And now she's like, oh my gosh, I have to go home and sew on my machine. It's really funny. So then the other, probably the bigger thing that's really unusual is when we open up the bobbin area. Now, look what's going to happen. ta-da! They call it a presenter for a reason. So to get the bobbin in and out, there's a little piece right here, and if you just press on that, the bobbin comes directly out of the machine. Now, this is the area where you have to pull your thread down. You know, on a typical machine, you have that, but it's a lot of times it's either up for a top loading bobbin or it has a bobbin case. And so, but this is kind of a built-in bobbin case. And so there's two different ways that we would thread this for both sewing and for embroidery. I'm not going to go into the details on that, but what I will tell you is that you're not going to be left, even if you buy a used machine, you're not going to be left without lessons.
Exactly. My machine was used.
And
yes.
And
yes.
Did you ever feel like we abandoned you after you bought it?
Never.
So what I want you guys to understand is if you want used machines are half the price of a full priced 880. But what's happened now is Bernina made a deal for us dealers right now because they're going to come out with a new version of their top of the line next year. But how about getting a brand new 880 plus? You know you may or may not know, it does come with embroidery. You can use a jumbo hoop with it, which is the biggest embroidery field Bernina offers. And you can get your embroidery unit, your machine. You're also going to get a cabinet. All of this is going to come for $11,999.
That's great.
It's an amazing deal. So, $5,000 savings on the machine itself, another $5,000 on the cabinet. How can you beat that?
That's awesome.
So, if that's in your budget, if that's something you've been thinking about, now is the time to get this. It's a wonderful machine. It's under full warranty. You're not going to lose anything with it, getting it that way. But if you decide to get a used one, then you're not going to get the cabinet for free, but you will get the machine and you will get the embroidery unit, and those are going to be $7,000. And you will be able to, and yes, it's listed higher on my website. I'm going to drop that price down to $7,000 so you can get the machine and this wonderful embroidery unit with it. And there's also, we have one 880 crystal edition. First come, first serve. Comes with the crystals, comes with the bags. Pretty darn amazing deal. So you will get all of that, and we will do that for $7,000. So get in here, get your machine. Don't worry about the people who are the naysayers of the 880. Come in here and try it, because you know what the fact is? If you have never sewn on one, you don't know what you're missing, number one. Number two, we will help you through that whole process. But if you're curious about whether or not you want to mess with that machine, go watch those videos that we're going to put in the description, a link to them. Go watch those videos. And what suggestions would you give them, Angie, having owned one now for 2 years?
Definitely take advantage of learning how to use the machine by coming here.
Getting their lessons, mastery lessons.
Definitely use the machine. I mean, use it and to get the most out of it. Use both the sewing and the embroidery. I think that's ideal, is to take advantage of those.
Watch the videos, come to mastery lessons, and once you do those things, I think. But if you're hesitating, come in and try it. Definitely. Because we will set it up for you. We'll sew with you. We'll talk to you about the differences between it and other machines. But really, watch those videos and see if that's something that interests you. Because that was my first suggestion to you, is make sure that you think that that's going to be a good machine for you. But gosh, they're so nice to sew on. I really think you will enjoy it. It really is a nice machine.
Absolutely. And don't hesitate to purchase one that's used. That I did that, and that was the only way it was in my budget. And it is, I love it. To me, it's like getting a new machine. I learned everything I would have learned with a new machine, and it functions beautifully.
They're wonderful. Our used machines, just so you know, we warranty them in-house for a year. And also we have a very flexible return policy. So this is something that puts it into the budget of a lot of people who would have never dreamed they could do this. I mean, it's less expensive than a 770 plus.
Right.
Can't beat that. All right, everybody. We will hopefully see you soon. And thank you for watching our videos. We appreciate it.